And you will speak in English.
Well, I think that would go best.
Yes, that would go better.
Yeah.
I can translate otherwise.
Yeah. It would be really
very
good
welcome.
comedy, but it wouldn't be very informative. All right. So just before I came into the room to listen to Judith, I gave my wife a quick call and just said hello, the lunchtime call. And she said, are you nervous? And I said, no, why would I be nervous? I've done this talk 100 times. She said, it's 100 women who are smarter than you. And I said, well, now that you mention it, thanks for the pep talk. So today I'm going to be talking about self-leadership. And I think it's the art of self-leadership. And let me just open my second screen. Old school. I feel like a magician when I do that. But the reason I wanted to talk about this, and I understand that you guys are smarter than me. My wife reminded me of that. So let me just say I'm not here to teach you anything, but to actually remind you of some really, really important things that as leaders and as self-leaders that we need to keep in mind. So let's start with a why. Why is self-leadership such a hot topic right now in business world and in teams? It's because managing constant and rapid change is a real competitive advantage. And as we deal with so much change in our lives and our working lives, we need to have self-leadership skills just to be able to manage all the change. Over the next 10 years, do you think there'll be more change or less change? More, right? There's a tsunami of change coming towards us in the way we work and live, and we can already see people are writing books about the effect of that. Thank you for your great talk. I loved it. I didn't understand it, but I thought it was really just the delivery, the charm, everything, right on point. So the why is that we need to have self-leadership in order to be able to manage the amount of change that's coming towards us, and so we can continue to do what we want to do and achieve what we want to achieve. So I'd like to ask you, what is self-leadership? What is self-leadership? No pressure.
It's to
Follow your own values. Everyone's not making eye contact with me now.
finding out what's
Yep. Fantastic. Correct answers, great answers. If I went around the room, I'd probably get 100 different answers. But over the last 20 plus years of working with people, coaching people, working with teams, I've come up with a definition that I think is the most helpful in the way we should think about self-leadership and how we should manage ourselves. And that is, it's simply the ability to continue to move in the direction of your choosing. It's the ability to continue to move in the direction of your choosing. That is self-leadership. And today I'm going to talk about, these 4 pillars: direction, priorities, energy, and what I call the gap. And when we talk about self-leadership, we, can think about it. We have a goal. There's us, we have a goal, and in the middle, it's not a straight line. You all know this, that from where you begin to where you want to go is absolutely not a straight line. There'll be problems, there'll be challenges, there'll be difficult people, there'll be economic challenges. How are you enjoying the motivational talk so far? Bit of a downer, sorry. Let me go back. But the thing is that self-leadership is the ability to understand that those challenges are going to be present. You are going to hit obstacles and roadblocks, but you decide to focus on what you can control, which is you. You control yourself so you can continue to move in the direction of your choosing because you expect and welcome challenges. Now, everybody in this room is a self-leader, and I know that because you're the people that took the time and the money to take time out of your busy day to come here to learn more, so you can be more, so you can achieve more. So you're all self-leaders. And when you think about great self-leaders, the one that comes to mind for me, the most inspiring, Martin Luther King. Why? What's Martin Luther King's famous 4 words? I have a dream. Now, he improvised that part of the speech. He added that to the end of the speech in August 1963. But what he said before was even more inspiring. He said, despite the difficulties and inequalities of the present moment, I have a dream. It's not how I want it to be. It's difficult. I don't see a way, but I'm going to keep moving in the direction of my choosing. And our decisions, the decisions we make every day, are creating a direction. And if you sit down on a Friday afternoon and count how many gym visits you did, the quality of work you did this week, the quality of your relationships and communication this week, you'll see the direction your life's moving in. And I often tell my coaching clients, do the Friday review. What direction are you moving in? Are you moving in the direction you want to go or the direction you've been pushed in? And, social psychologists came up with what they call self-determination theory. And this is what they believe is the things that actually motivate us. If you've read the book Drive by Daniel Pink, which I recommend, this really, speaks about these three pillars. And the first one is autonomy, the ability for us to have control over our own decisions and destiny. And there are people who are literally risking their lives every day in other parts of the world fighting for that right, the one that we have and we take for granted. But this autonomy is something that really motivates us. And in our working life, we can see that it's played out in micromanagement being absolutely a no-no, and people really wanting to be able to work and complete tasks and challenges in their own way. The second thing is mastery. Now, the great American violinist Yehudi Menuhin was a child prodigy, and he was performing violin on the world stage at 8 years old. And when he was 80, somebody asked him, why are you still practicing? And he said, because I really feel like I'm getting somewhere. I love that. And we have this drive in us to get better and better and better. And anybody who's had a job where they've mastered it and there's no more growth in it, and they're just like a hamster on a wheel going around and round, that feels suffocating. Who's had that experience where you've been in a job? Okay, put your hand up if you would stay in that job if I paid you twice the money. 3 times the money. 4 times the money, your hands start to go up. Usually around 4, people go, you know what? It sucked, but 4 times the money, I'm in for at least 6 months. But we need to have that headroom, that ability to keep growing and purpose. I have a very busy coaching practice. People come to me. They do not come to me because their life is in crisis. Maybe 1% are in crisis. They come to me because they're just like you, successful. They have a family or they, have a great life, a great job, and they say, is this it? How many people here want more purpose and meaning in their work and their lives? So basically every hand goes up. And a few people are really doing great, because if you don't put your hand up, you're exactly on the right path. You're doing what you should be doing. And then we talk about priorities. And if you do not know your priorities, you as a self-leader will not know what you can compromise on and what you can never compromise on. For me, I've known them quite clearly now for some time, because I had a family. 5 or 7 years ago, I started a family. And so my priorities now are my health, because I won't be able to do my work. My goal is to, in my lifetime, uplift and inspire millions of people. I need to be healthy. I need to have energy. And then after that comes my wife, which sometimes people are surprised. They say, aren't your children higher than your wife? No, because our marriage is the sauce that our kids are marinating in, and I want them marinating in great sauce and learning great relationship skills. They're modeling us. And then, of course, my children, who I just love beyond all reason. Yeah, but I'm really clear. And so sometimes opportunities come to me, like someone says, could you please travel around Europe and teach all of our leaders for 3 months? It's like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. Because I need to be home with my wife and I need to be with my children. That's my priority. It's a great offer. My ego wants to do it. Oh my God, my ego, it just wants to do it so badly. But I know that it will not work for me. So your homework, and I really want you to do this, promise me you'll do this, when you're leaving here with whoever you came with, as you're going back to work, I want you to really get clear my top 3 priorities. Please put your hand up if you promise to do this little bit of homework. It's a free seminar, come on. It's not much. But if you just do this, your decision making will improve exponentially. And quite often when you've made a decision that doesn't feel right, it's because you've gone against your own priorities. Your ego has taken the lead and it's taking you down the wrong road. So now, in this era of time, we have this word influencer. I met a girl recently, a young lady, fantastic young lady, looked fit and healthy. She was wearing all of the exercise gear. I said, "What do you do?" She said, "I'm a fitness influencer." I said, "Could you fitness influence me while I watch Netflix? Is that something you can do?" Apparently that's not a thing. But when we hear all this talk about influencer, I prefer to, with my clients and with the people that I work with, to talk about becoming a magnet. Instead of sending this message out to the world that you're important, show the world that you're important through your energy and through your skills and talents. So become a magnet for opportunity with your energy. Now, I can tell you that in the marketplace today, basically whatever you have to sell, someone else is selling it. People can buy whatever you have to offer, whenever they want to buy it, in whatever color, shape, size, doesn't matter. So in the marketplace, you are the difference. In your industry, you are the difference. Your energy is the thing that makes the difference, and your energy is your influence. What you know is like 10% of it. The rest of it is who you are. And, you know, I could go through all of the studies about this and give you all the facts and figures, but sometimes it's just better to go with the poets, because the poets sum it up so beautifully. And the American poet-philosopher Maya Angelou said, "People won't remember what you said, they won't remember what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel." Oh. That always gets a, oh. So, you know, we had a great time setting up today. We were singing Dirty Dancing songs, having fun. You know, why not? Because we are influencing each other with our energy all the time. And what Judith is going to remember 5 years from now is nothing what I said. It'll be the fact that we had a great laugh and a great time, right? Yeah. And we were really good on the Dirty Dancing. We'll save that for the next one. You're not ready. You're not ready for it yet. But your energy is your influence, and, you know, I need to be transparent. At different points in my life, I've brought opportunity towards me with my attitude, and I've pushed opportunity away with my attitude. Who recognizes that? So if we recognize that our energy is our influence, then we have to really acknowledge that at no point in time are we off duty when it comes to our influence and reputation. My journey to this talk started on January 17th, 1983, when I was 13 years old and I took my first drumming lesson. If you want to do the math, I'm 50. Save yourself the mental. 13 and 50, so subtract 5 is 2. Oh, he's 50. Yeah, I'm 50. But I took this drumming lesson on January 17th, 1983, and then I joined a band, and the guitarist in the band was Heath. Heath and I became great friends. Heath married a Swedish lady named Christine. Christine's sister Therese came to Sydney to visit her. I fell in love with Therese. If you saw her, you'd understand. I fell in love with Therese, followed her back to Sweden. Therese's best friend's husband, Paul, worked in a sales team. He introduced me to his boss. I got a job in the sales team. Once I was inside the sales team, there was another Australian named Greg who left the team, went to another company, told his boss about me. His boss invited me to go there. When I was inside that company, I met a lady named Veronica who asked me to coach her on how she should find a job when she moves to the UK. Veronica finds an Englishman, gets married, brings him back here, says, "Can you please coach Tom?" Tom introduces me to Jenny. Jenny works at Hyper Island. She invites me to speak at Hyper Island. When I'm speaking at Hyper Island, my colleagues Helen and Jenny are there. They invite me to speak at their company kickoff. They invite me then, after that fantastic performance apparently, to work with them on a regular basis, become one of their consultants. And then you came to a breakfast seminar, I believe, at Hammer and Hambori, and you invited me to be here. So when did this opportunity start? When did this opportunity start? And by the way, if you don't like my talk today, I still have the number of the drum teacher. You can call him. He gets regular calls. So we are never off duty when it comes to our energy and our influence. And we need to also use our energy in a way that will help us maintain and handle all of this change. Because this ladder, which I created, which I call the confidence ladder, is something that I work with my coaching clients all the time. Because waiting to be confident will not work in a rapidly changing world. You have to become friends with uncertainty. And if you become friends with uncertainty and you become used to it, because it is going to be the new normal, then we can think about how do we climb the ladder to confidence. And it's like this. If we manage our physical energy, if we look after ourselves, if we go to the gym, if we move our body, we will naturally become motivated. We'll break down stress hormones. We'll release great endorphins that will make us feel good. I mean, all of you know, none of you want to go to the gym, but when you walk out, you feel fabulous. Yeah? It feels great when you leave the gym and you feel motivated to do something. That was a good workout. I think I'll call Jenny and we'll have a fika. Whatever it is, you feel motivated to do something. So your energy creates motivation, and motivation creates action. And action is the only thing that actually generates confidence. How many people in this room can ride a bicycle? Everybody. How many people are confident they can ride a bicycle? How many of you remember when you weren't confident to ride a bicycle? Yeah, about half. But most of us have learned all of these things that we're doing all day, amazing things with computers and technology and our job that we just take for granted. But we forget that every single one of those, we didn't feel confident the first time we did it. Right? So we know from experience that it's action that makes the difference. So we need to really use our energy to climb up that ladder. And once you get to confidence, once you get confident at anything, it becomes a magnet for opportunity. Confidence will always attract opportunity. And the first impression in psychology is actually called fundamental attribution error. In psychology, they talk about fundamental attribution error, or the power of first impression. It's the tendency for people to believe that what you do is who you are. People think, I'm this guy all the time. And my wife says, I wish I could have that guy more of the time. I thought I was marrying Tony Robbins, I got Homer Simpson. I'm not this guy all the time. So at home, I don't want to go to work. Yeah. But people naturally, on their first impression, will create a filter in their brain that they will judge you through for the rest of their interactions with you. So make sure that feeling is a good feeling. Because if you have a bad day, they'll forgive you. But if you start bad, they won't let you into their circle. So we really need to use the power of first impression all the time. How many people do you meet over the course of a week? Meetings, client meetings, networking events. The power of the first impression, huge. Okay, I have 2.5 minutes. So what do you want to be remembered for as a leader? Please close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And I just want to ask you, what do you want to be remembered for as a leader? See yourself leading others, leading yourself, making a difference. What are you doing, saying, and being? Come back to the room. Now I want you to imagine there's a huge meteor right above this building. It's about to hit the building, kill us all. It's all right. It's not actually going to happen. I couldn't get a meteor into the budget today. She said, you can have a flip chart and a coffee or a meteor. You choose. So I chose a flip chart. But if a meteor hit today and today was your last day, what would you actually be remembered for? Would you be remembered for the person you had in your head, or would there be something else said about you? How many people see that there's a gap between the leader they are now and the leader that they want to be remembered for? How many see there's a gap? Great. Now the gap is normal. The gap is never going to go away fully, but all the growth is in the gap. And self-leaders are willing to continually work on closing that gap. And if we continue to look at the gap between where we are and where we want to be, we'll get all the information we need about what we need to work on and what we need to focus on. And self-leaders are willing to do that difficult work of looking into the gap. Now, don't worry if there is a gap. The goal is just to get it as small as possible. But if you're a person like you are, which is a person that's evolving and growing, the gap will always be there. Make sense? Great. And finally, and I'm only 1 minute over, that's pretty cool. Every day, do what you said you were going to do, because excuses are not a career-building activity. Yeah? Excuses are not a career-building activity. And what I'd like you to do is every single time you say sorry and make an excuse over the next coming weeks, I want you to make a check mark. Because all of us are saying yes to too many things, spreading ourselves too thin, and especially ladies, you tend to put other people before you all the time. So learn to say no more so that you can do what you said you were going to do and not make any excuses. And when you make those check marks, yeah? At the end of the week, count them up. Next week, try and do one less. Just try and do one less. Thank you for having me. It's been great to be here. Much appreciated.
Tack så jättemycket.